Yo,
Keep it going.
2021. We are here. We are back.
What's up? Did our predictions come true from last year, or
I don't
should we
think
wait a
so.
little
Not
longer
yet.
to see?
Got to give it a little bit more time. What
Oh,
is
okay.
up, party people out there in the YouTube and Facebook and wherever you're watching or listening to this world? This is
Yeah.
Derek from Wilson Audio Labs, and I have Rob here from Hifi Vega. And
Yeah.
we're here for a
Boy.
2021 introduction show to how to spend your $600 stimulus. Right,
Place
Rob?
isn't
It's,
burned.
it's like burn
If
a
the
hole in
whole
our
place
pocket.
isn't burned down, then yes. Who
We're
knows?
not we're not going there.
Yeah.
We're skipping over all of the political drama. There's enough of that going on.
Yeah, for
But with
sure.
that, we did want to thank B Handbeats 843 for your super sticker. You the man.
Yeah.
$5 super sticker. That's going to help give us a little bit more stimulus so that we can pay for stickers and all kind of fun stuff.
Yeah. Feels
So
good.
Rob,
Feels good to be back.
yeah, we both took a week off of this show. Of course, that's not unusual lately because of me. But other than that, you had some time off. You took a vacation. You all recharged and everything.
Oh yeah, man. I'm feeling good. I had a whole week out with basically very little internet. Just hung out with the family, had good times, and I'm glad to be back. Feels good to be back with my are the Batman to my Robin, like I said in my post. So it feels good to be back in the saddle.
Yeah, it is good to be back, and it's good to have a recharge this time of year. Those of us who double up and work a full time job plus do the YouTube and do the streaming and do the other things, it's a lot, and it really can kind of add up. So it's good to take a little bit of a break, and it's fun times when we do come back and we are recharged. I know I missed
Mm.
a week with a video, but I did put out two last week. But this week it's just been one thing after another. But it's coming. I've got a long awaited video for donations. I have people send me stuff. I have people send me emails. Hey, I want to send you this. I want to send you that. And I've just tried to accumulate all those, and I grabbed some video clips and some pictures and stuff. And I'm excited about showing that off. It's gonna be a little bit long for my videos, maybe as much as 30 minutes.
Whoa.
But yeah, but it's fun. It's fun. It's always, to me, when I watch other channels that do this, it's always fun because you never know, what's in the box. It's like the Brad Pitt thing. Of course, hopefully it's not that. But you're still interested to find out, what somebody sent you and show it off, and not only that, talk a little bit about it, about what I plan on doing with it, because people may not realize, or they probably do realize, a lot of my content, especially the old school content, is based on items that are either sent to me or things that I buy. And sometimes people send me stuff that it's really hard to find. And that's a great way to have content for a video. So some things you'll see will be coming up in future videos. And I've just been working on it for a while. So hopefully it comes across pretty well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It'll be a fun video for sure. I can't wait to see all the random stuff you got.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't normally do videos like this, so we'll see how it comes across. I know some of my other favorite channels that I watch that are not car audio related, that are more either tech or computer related. When they do unboxings, they seem to do pretty well. And it's not all about that. It's not about how well the video does for me. It's just how well the audience is engaged with the content that I do. Because if I do something that people don't want to watch, then what's the use in doing it, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
try to make sure it's something that's somewhat interesting. But we'll see. But for this week, Rob and I decided, hey, it's people got some extra money. Hopefully they've come in. I'm still waiting on mine, but it is what it is. I can go ahead and plan out what I'm going to do. But we thought about, hey, people, money burns holes in people's pocket, and car audio people are probably some of the worst.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that just you guys are the worst.
He's
I mean, there's
including
not
us in car audio people.
exactly. So
We're
we're
car
there
audio
with
people.
you, but I'm just saying,
Uh,
caveat to everything that we're gonna say. If this $600 is going to help get you a meal, get you some gas, pay
Yeah.
your rent, use it for that. Don't go out and buy car audio stuff when you need the money for something else. This is if got all that stuff taken care of, and hey, I needed this tool, or I needed this amp, or wanted something extra as kind of a just a payoff for you for hard work you've done for the past year, then that's cool. But it goes without saying, guys, I'm not telling you people to go out and waste your money if you don't have it. So this is really just a fun show to talk about some things we've come across that you typically may not want to spend a lot of money on, because I know some of these tools we're going to talk about are pretty expensive. But you get $600 for free, or some people get more if you're married and have kids and all that stuff. So it's just something to think about. So
Yeah,
with all that caveat, I sound like an
your
attorney
grandkids
here.
they're fronting you a loan.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
that's
Appreciate
right.
it,
Your
grandkids.
grandkids are going to be paying us back, so you might as well enjoy it while you get it, right?
Y'all's the best.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the first one up here on my other screen, and I'll share it so you guys can see it. But this is a no-brainer for Rob and I, because we both use this utility, this tool, and a lot of people complain, because of the price. Obviously, $450, the SMD AMM1. And I've said this many times before. I made hundreds of videos using the big amp dyno, but the big amp dyno came out before this one did. And I've told Rob before, I'm like, dude, if this one came out before the big amp dyno, I don't know that I ever would have bought a big amp dyno, because this little handheld dyno does actually a lot more than the big dyno does. The only thing is it does not include the load resistors. But Rob, you use this one all the time for your dyno tests, but it's so much more than just a amp dyno test, right? Because it does other things.
Yeah, it is. It is an audio multimeter, just like they say. I mean, you can do the best thing about it is you can test in your vehicle. So like the big amp dyno, you're not going to be dragging that around, running it off your power supply. So that's the biggest thing that I like about this. But you can do voltage. It shows you impedance as you're playing music, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's really useful. And I think the coolest thing about it is actually showing how much power your speaker is actually getting. Because when I first got this, I think one of the first videos I did was, how much power does it take to blow up a 6.5-inch speaker or whatever. It was a cheap Scosche speaker that I had. And it was real neat that you could actually see the true wattage that was going to that speaker when it blew up and it smoked. So yeah, those, I don't know. It's a really cool utility. Again, $450 I understand is not cheap for a lot of people, and it's a toy. For some people, for people like me and Rob, it's not a toy; it's a tool. But if you're just an enthusiast and you don't make videos and you don't really have a way to show it off, it's really something that may be hard to justify. But hey, you got $600; it's $450. You still got enough left to have some fun. But I would definitely put that on the top of my list. And Rob and I are going to leave links in the video description after this video, so you guys can come back if you want. And they're affiliate links, which affiliate to you guys may not mean anything, but to us it means if you click our link, it doesn't charge you anything else. It just links you directly to the product, and Rob and I get a very small portion of the sale. So it helps us out by helping you guys out by providing the link. So
Yeah,
we
help
will
us help
provide you
you.
all that in the video description.
Help us help you.
That's right. Help us help you.
So what else we got on that list?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the next one here. I was trying to let's see. Now this next one, I'll be honest, I haven't used this, but I see so many people use it and talk about it. So I'm going to go ahead and show it to you, and you guys are going to know, because I'm sure some of you may already have one. This, and how do you say it? Is it Lumi?
Yes.
Lumi?
I think it's the Lumi.
Lumi
Yeah.
O-scope. And again, it's a handheld multimeter that has an O-scope built in. Scott and Cassie, hey, how are y'all doing? Thanks for joining us. Um, it's a little bit, um, I think maybe fake news here with the screen because I can
Yeah.
tell you, Russell's in the house too. Hey, Russell, that the resolution on this particular unit is 320 by 240, I think.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get that level of detail that it shows in that picture. And I would be real careful with using this as your end all be all for clipping because this is not a true RMS meter. And I don't think that's stated a lot with what people say, but you definitely need to use a true RMS meter when you're setting your gains and doing stuff like that because this one's going to be a little off. But hey, it's really cool to have that waveform so at least you can see what's going on. And if you do hit hard clipping, you can still use this to see what that is. But what I would do is when you see clipping, I would turn it back like a couple notches when you're using something like this. It's got such a low res screen and something that's not a true RMS voltmeter.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that I didn't know that though. Actually, to be honest with you, I didn't know that it wasn't a true RMS. I just assumed that it was.
I assumed it was too until I started reading the specs and it said nothing in the specs. So
Yeah.
the ones that are true RMS definitely say it. Now the one that I used to use, the Velemon or Velemon, am I still
Oh,
here or did I go away?
yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, nope. I actually canceled you. Trying to get ready. Go ahead. Share yours
Uh,
back. I'll
oh,
pull mine.
okay. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. You can do yours. I was just trying to cancel my screen and
Oh,
bring up the
okay.
next one.
Yeah, I was trying to be prepared and end up overriding. But if you're gonna pick up, if you don't want the Lumi, you just want something easy. The DD1, $189 here, and I think it's well worth it. It's not cheap, but I mean, it's just something. I use one every time I test amp. I'm sure you do as well. There's one built into the amp dyno, right?
Yep. Yeah, it has the DD1 Plus, which is the model above this, which allows you to set your gain overlap, which is what you need when you do the dyno test. But yeah, this one, a lot of people complain, oh, it's so much, and again, it's a tool, and you need to use a tool, use it every day, it pays for itself. Um, but we're talking $600 that you were given. So if you if you
Yeah.
need something like this, then this is a great time to buy it. It's not an essential that everybody has to have, but it if you need it, you know that you need it, and right now is a good time to get it. Is what I would say.
Yeah, and then I have another that I'll share, and then I'll let you share one if you want.
Yeah, you go ahead because you've got the next couple of them. Because Rob picked out some really cool tools.
Yeah, I picked out some tools that are closer to something that I might use. Let me share in my
Je-
everyday.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
Yeah, go
Jesse
ahead.
says you got $600 coming by a fluke, and
No.
hey,
Yeah.
he's got a point there.
So this one would be good, but it sold out because it was such a good deal.
Oh, got him.
They had this plunge router for $69, and it's a skill, which skills kind of went downhill, but a plunge router is very good if you use it with one of these, a Jasper jig. Let me open that one up and show you.
Don't you
That
love
really
that
stinks.
effect when you're trying to share something and it's not available?
Yeah. This one is in stock though. It's the cheapest circle jig you can get, $40. They are plastic. You can get metal versions, but if you want to cut a perfect circle, a router is such a useful tool in car audio. You can do roundovers, you can do rabbits, you can do dados, you can do all kinds of stuff, and it's really an essential tool if you're going to be building boxes. And let's see
I
what else I
dig.
had picked out. Oh, okay. I had, have you ever used a router?
Cannot say that I have used a router. I've watched a lot of people use it, but I myself don't have one, and no, I haven't used one.
What you do, you cannot go back. That's for sure. But this is another. So if you don't want a table saw, I suggest you getting a regular circular saw. I have this same exact Porter cable one. It's pretty solid for $59. It's got a nice shoe on it. It's easy to square up. but you're going to want to get it with one of these nice Craig rip cuts, they're called. And that is another $30. So under $100 here, you have basically everything you need to replace your table saw. And I mean, these rip cuts, they're not perfect, but they work well enough, I think, that you can actually replace a table saw with it. Have you tried one of these yet?
Yeah, oh definitely. I would, I don't care how good you are cutting, you definitely have to have a guide.
Yeah.
And having a guide like this turns you into a pro for sure. And like you said, turns it pretty much into a table saw. So
Yeah. So that's
yeah,
my
that
$100 table saw. If the drill or the router was available, you can get all these tools for around 250, and you're basically going to be a box building man after that. You'll have basically everything you need to build a lot of really nice enclosures.
sounds good. Well, we're gonna move on to some of the more fun stuff. I would say next we're gonna talk amplifiers. Taramp Smart 3. They have increased the price here. You can see this at one time was what was it? 249 I think when it first came out, then it went up to 259 and then 275 and whatever. Now it's right at 300. But man, this is a tough little amp. I mean, the fact that it has that constant power technology between 2 ohms and 2 and 1 ohm, and it
Yeah.
was very durable. When I did my test with the dyno, it had that built-in chip module, the smart part, where it knows when the amp reaches a certain current level, which was right around 300 amps, and then it would shut the amp off. So it would not allow itself to go into an overcurrent situation where it could, overheat and blow up the amp. It just shuts off. So plus it's got a cool little VU meter thing with right around the T on tar amps.
Yeah.
That's neat too. Of course, the things it doesn't come with any kind of remote bass level, which I know a lot of you guys say, well, I don't need that. I never use it. Well, I enjoy having some adjustment because I listen to a lot of different types of music. Some of it
Yeah.
needs a little bit extra bump. Some of it, the level is a little bit low, so it needs a little extra. Some of it I need to turn down. So I enjoy having that. I know you can get an LC1. You can have all other kind of ways you can adjust it within your head unit if you use an external head unit. But for me, I like to have that. And hopefully in 2021, they were going to come out with some new models of these. We hope. I don't have any inside info. I don't know anything about that, but I can say based on how well this one's sold, I would not doubt that they'll have new models coming out. And hopefully they'll address the remote bass level problem. I'd say a problem, but it's maybe not a problem. And also, the other thing that drives me crazy is the single RCA in and the single RCA out.
Yeah.
I mean, really? 25 cents? Can we add two more of those?
Yeah, for sure. I mean that yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, right at 300 bucks. Again, the price has creeped up a little bit, but still pretty good deal. So the next item, and this is going to link straight to their site because they don't sell this on eBay or Amazon or any place like that. But the Down for Sound JP23, I made a couple videos on it, because one was going to be way too long, I thought. I pretty much tortured it as much as I could, and I could not get the amp to blow up. Not that I was really trying to blow it up. I just wanted to make sure, that if it's something that I was going to say that really did well, and I was able to put it through a torture test, that it survived, and it did. I really like the bass knob, voltage temp meter built in, the power light. It's a little bright, so I would say you might have to get some of that tinted tape to put over it because it's a really bright blue. That's something that I don't think I put in my video as a negative, but it is really bright. But if you prefer the half bridge Korean style amplifiers for the price, this one's really hard to beat in my opinion, and it's got the old school look. It looks like the old school US amps. Has a really thick heat sink. It dissipates the heat well, and through all my tests, and I run all my dyno tests back to back to back, The fan never came on when I was bumping it with the subwoofer. The fan never came on. So that tells me that they built the heatsink well. It takes all that heat away from the output devices, and it doesn't have a problem with heat. So I was impressed with it. So for $300, and from what they have told me, this particular model is not gonna the price is not gonna go up. They are gonna come out with probably a version 2 at some time, which will be a higher price model. But for the version 1, I was told the price is gonna stay at 300. So we'll see
Well,
if
and
that
those
happens.
those Korean amps, they've been proven to be reliable. So, I mean, with full bridge, some of them, there's been a question as to how well the durability is. So, if you need something that's kind of bulletproof, maybe you go with a Korean.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, it's a preference thing. The reason I did both is because I like both of them. I like the Tar amps. In the beginning, when I first started playing with them, I didn't like the sound of them. But the more I've listened to them now, I don't know if the sound has changed or I've gotten used to it. Whatever it is, I don't have a problem with the sound anymore. But, the Korean style, the half bridge that have been around for the while, the Class D style, it sounds great too on subwoofers. And I couldn't really tell a difference between the two myself, but here you got $300. You got your choice. These are two great options at that price, in my opinion.
Dealer's choice at that point.
Yeah, that's right. So one of the other ones here that I haven't actually tested yet, and sometimes I don't like to put amps on here that I haven't tested, but I've tested a lot of other NVX amps, and NVX are solid. I mean, they really perform well. They're built really well. These are Korean built amplifiers. This is the VAD 2701. I think it's around a 3K amp. And from all the other people's videos I've seen and some of the clamp tests I've seen, this amp fully does its rated power. And this one is actually Marine certified too. So at that price, you're paying just a little bit more for the Marine certification. But it's another solid option for right around that same price, right around the $300 price range. And Rob, have you played with any of the NVX amps at all?
No, I haven't, but I've seen that one tested. Sonic Electronics done it, and it done over 3K.
That's
So
right. Yep.
it's pretty solid. And NVX is good about getting quality parts, OEM type parts, and rebranding them. So I assume it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you can see out of 281 ratings, it gets 4.4 stars. So it gets a lot of good positive feedback on Amazon. I just think they make really good products. Everything I've ever tested with NVX has been a good product. So kudos to them for that. Let's see what's up next. Now this one,
This is a
this
Sean
is a
King
little
special.
this is a little Sean King special. And those who
Yeah.
did not watch the show where we interviewed Sean and he talked about repairing amps and he talked about, hey, tell us something that you know that most people don't know. These Arc Audio FD 2200s, woofers, etc., has a limited supply of these, which I don't know how many more is limited because you can't tell between Amazon and eBay how many they have left. But the FD is the Foose design. These were actually made by Robert Zeff. Designed the internals. The outside was designed by Foose, Chip Foose. But they don't, and it's crazy because online you can't hardly find any gut shots of this amp. But they are gorgeous inside. If you remember the older Zapco amps from the mid to late 90s all the way up until the early 2000s, they were Robert Zeff designed and super super high quality. And wow, $130. Yeah, they shouldn't last very long. They're rated 100 by 2 at 4 ohms. I think it's like 380 by 1 at 4 ohms. So they're not super super powerful. They're more SQ related amps. But Class AB, those of you who are still into old school stuff, I guarantee you when these things sell out within a year or so, these things are going to be selling on eBay for $300 or $400. So go ahead and pick up one while you can, while they're still in stock, if you have any interest. And honestly, I think this is one of the amps that the pictures don't do it justice because it really kind of doesn't look good. When I saw the picture, I'm like,
Yeah.
really Chip Foose designed that? But the pictures are just not good. So anyway, I got one that I'm going to test and I'll show off in a future video. But you may want to go ahead and pick one up before I do that because I think they'll sell out.
Before they're gone.
Then that's thanks to Sean King because he gave us the DL on that. Now this one is pretty obvious. The kicker key. This is the 4-channel model, 50 by 4. Rob has done a really detailed video on this, and it's still in your wife's car, right?
Right. Yep. The Hi-Fi Hyundai.
The Hi-Fi Hyundai, and he's got some videos that show that. And we've been on with Kicker and talked about this and talked about the technology and everything that's involved in these amps. And it doesn't show it here, but Rob, these are $249. I think is the regular price. Is that right?
Yep. $249.95.
Yeah, so for $250, it's designed to, you put it in the car and it comes with a microphone and it does all the adjustments for you. Has the EQ built in, the time alignment, all that good stuff, and it's kind of a set it and forget it type thing.
Yep. And a key lock. You could just run speaker level straight into it and boom, you're ready to roll.
So if you've got one of those newer systems where, you're kind of concerned about changing out the head unit and worrying about all that stuff, you can get one of these and give you a nice little boost in power, because I don't care what your factory system says, this right here would sound better and give you more power than your factory system.
Yeah, for sure. and you're going to see this, and me and Dereck have kind of picked our own little $600 systems that we're going to show you later, and this is definitely going to make an appearance in one of mine.
Yeah. And Rob, if you don't mind, we'll both try to keep track of the comments a little bit because I don't want to miss anything that comes up as we're going. We're trying to kind of wheel through this kind of quick because we do have a lot of recommendations here. So if you guys notice and if you comment and we're not, responding to it right this moment, it's because we're trying to get through this. But we're still watching those, and we still appreciate you guys, providing your feedback for sure. And if you guys out there have any options or have any suggestions, post those up too, and we'll share the ones that we like. We might not post all of them because we might not like some of them, but I'm just saying, trying to be truth. All right, so here, this one now, wow, I can't believe this joker is still in stock. The Orion HCCA 3000.1D SPLX. They could make that name just a little bit longer, Rob. What do you think?
Yeah, they I don't think they're trying with this stuff. It's just keep add names to it. We'll sell more if we do that.
I mean, seriously, dude. I mean, make it a little bit shorter. But anyway, this is a 5,000 watt amp. I don't care. It says 3,000 on it. If you feed it 14.4 volts at 40 hertz, it's going to do 5,000 watts. So it is a beast. It has triple 1-aught inputs. It's incredible amp, incredibly powerful. It is big, but again, as compared to 5K amps, it's about the right size. But wow, what a beast.
What's the price on that? I can't see on mine.
$599 is the price.
Ooh,
so this will take up all of your stimuli, especially after you pay the tax on top of that.
Yeah, but I will say for $600, I would like some better end caps on that. Because those end caps
you don't dig the plastic end caps?
No, that amp is so nice looking, and those end caps
except for that
garbage.
I agree. And the other thing is the bass knob. And they told me at one time that they were going to fix the bass knob and come out with a different one, but I don't know if anybody here in the chat has got one of the recent ones, because they did make some changes and they came back out. Let us know if they've changed that bass knob. They're still showing the picture of the old one, but that doesn't mean that's the one you're getting. I don't know. But that's a beast amp.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about
did we just fight each other with that? Oh, yeah. Bass Junkie. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for that. The Orion. Yeah, this is a tough one to beat, especially that it's still at that price, because it when it was out of stock, dude, these things were going for like $800 or $900 for a while. People were jacking up prices on eBay trying to sell them. But yeah, that's your bass head amp right there. Let me move on to the next item on the agenda. Oh,
Are we
okay.
to this
So
one?
now we're going to go to, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I don't want people to see all the good stuff before. Do you want to just talk through the system and then maybe show some of the parts, Rob, or do you want
Yeah,
to?
I'll show as I talk
Okay.
on here. That's how I'll do it. I'll start with this. So you got $600. You're you're gonna need wire. That's the first thing you're gonna want to buy. So I make sure to include this in the price of my kit because it's a big expense. It's $110, but I think if you're gonna put any wire in your car, if you're like us, you may want more power in the future. So don't just start with the 4 gauge. Just go ahead and put the 1/0 in there, and that 1/0 will be useful from 500 watts to 350 amps. And even if you want to go bigger than that, you can just put a second run of 1/0 right beside it, and that way you're not tearing wire out or having to replace anything. $110. I like new concepts. I think that's the perfect little kit to start out with as far as the wire. That's our foundation. Then as we go to the next one over here, I got to open it up. So this is not in stock, and it's probably not going to be in stock very soon. But I did a review on this, the Kenwood Exelon 304. They've been selling for like 300, 269 on Amazon. Don't buy it for that much. Wait till it's in stock at $119. So right now we're at about 230 for the build so far. But this will give you control over your components. You'll have crossovers, you'll have time limit, you'll have everything you need to make your system sound good in this. And this system is kind of going to be the all arounder. If you have an older vehicle like me and you need a head unit, you need everything. That's what this system's for. Next up, let's go to the amp, which Orion's going to get a little love here, a little more love, and it's
Yeah,
the
I saw
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
posted this one up on Facebook too.
Yeah, and there's only a couple of these left right now. Oh, it says in stock, but I thought they had low stock. So this amp is 165 watts by 4, and then bridged at 4 ohms mono. It's 500 watts by 2. So this is the perfect amp to run a component set up front. You have 165 watts per channel, 500 watts for your sub. I mean, at $207, that's hard. That's tough to beat. And then we're going to the component speakers, which would be something new if I can find them here.
And these are the ones Rob are going to share are super cheap or
Oh,
inexpensive right
I,
now.
I didn't open that one up either. I'm gonna have to open it up.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Yeah,
The suspense is building. And while
yeah.
you're looking for that, we did have a comment. Somebody said the Cab 22, which is the Audio Apex Cab 22, which is right now 249, I think, on pre-order. That is another solid amplifier in that 2,000 to 2,500 watt range for the
And what's
price.
the
I
cost
know
on
that
that one? You said?
it's 249, but they when I've been on the website, they charge you for shipping, which is another $20, and then if you want to get the warranty, they charge you additional on top of that. So depending on, you're still going to pay close to $300, just like the other two that I showed. But that is a solid alternative as well.
Yeah, for sure. And this one right here, this is the components that I picked. It's a budget. It's a pretty solid. I haven't listened to version 2. I have some over here, but the version 1s I've heard sounded very good for their price range, and I'm expecting only better from these. And at $110, very hard to beat this component set, in my opinion. And I plan on doing some kind of video with it pretty soon, and maybe I'll put it in a car and see what it sounds like.
Yeah, they definitely. I don't know what exactly they changed with the version 2, but I know the version 1s that I bought before were awesome speakers, and these are an upgrade supposedly. So we'll find out. I know Rob and I both got some. Savard sent us some. Thank you, Savard, for not making us pay for stuff like this. because we want to review things and we like to look at things and we don't, always have the extra coin to buy stuff. That doesn't mean that you guys aren't going to get a full, review from us, and we'll tell you the good stuff and the bad. That's what we do, and the companies know this. But the ones who are confident in their products and know that, hey, these guys aren't going to bash us, they'll send us stuff. Some of the other people, they make us buy it because they don't want us to review it. We'll still buy it and review it, though. Keep them on
You
their
got to get with
toes,
your
right,
own
Rob?
money. Yeah.
That's right.
You're not going to slam us with our money.
Yeah.
And then I finish it off with a new wrap 10-inch. I mean, it's under $100 shipped. It's a solid little sub, and I think this setup right here, the total price for that was it. Now, I included the wire kit and I had to include the shipping, so we're at $649 here. So you're gonna have to steal $49 of your wife's stimulus, part of the
Yeah.
stimulus.
Or and that also included the head unit. So if somebody didn't need the head unit, then it would be under that. So
Right.
that was an additional fee as well. All
You
right,
want to
so
share
that's your
one of yours now?
yeah, that's your stimulus system. I'm gonna do what's called my SQ upgrade system, and I've already actually shared the amps, but I'll bring it up again, and we'll show it again so you guys can see the horribly ugly picture of these Foos Design Arc Audio amps. Now my SQ system has two of these. For $260, you're getting two sound quality based amplifiers. So it's going to give you a little bit more headroom. It's going to give you better sound quality to have two separate amps instead of having one 4-channel. So that's your base. That's $260, and then so this other one is a little bit of a gotcha because we don't ever really know when you buy things from the Sundown yard sale. I think 95% of the time when you buy stuff there, it's just has maybe some cosmetic issues or some very, very faint issues with it. But you are taking a chance, you are taking a risk. But the E Series V4 12-inch is $90. And that's the E Series are great. I know Rob's played around with the E Series subs. They're a budget banger, pretty much. I mean, they can do SQ. They can also put out some pretty good SPL numbers for what they are. So $90 for the subwoofer. We've got $260 for both of the amps. And then for the front end, I decided to change it up a little bit, and I went with the Kicker KSS 650s. 6.5-inch with the Silk Dome tweeters, and these are $230. It's a great sounding component system. We've heard these in cars. We've heard them on the wall at Kicker. We've heard them several different places, and I think they're, for the money, that's a great deal. So that whole setup that I just went over was $580. So obviously that's before tax and some of the other things, but I did include shipping on all that. But right around $600, you got you a pretty nice little SQ setup with a 12-inch sub. Obviously, you have to build a box or use some of that extra money left over for your box. But that's a pretty nice little setup, I would think, for under $600.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got sub, power component set. You're ready to roll. That's yeah. 580
Yeah,
for
and
the
I
whole.
I didn't mention it, but I chose the D2 sub because I would wire it in series and then bridge that 2-channel amp to run at 4 ohms. And that would, give you the optimal power out of the amp and the optimal load and everything for the sub. And obviously, you'd want to make sure that you built the box to match the specs that Sundown has for the box. But and again, you're taking a risk by buying it from the yard sale, so you may get a bad one. But
You can
Rob, I don't
also
know how
buy
many
the
you've bought
recode.
from the yard sale, but I bought like 5 or 6 subs from there, and I haven't had any problem with any of them.
No, me neither. And the dirty little secret about those Sundown subs is they actually sound, the ones I haven't played with the SPL subs, but the subs from the SA version down that I played with, the ST3, the E series, the LCS, they all sound very good. So People don't know that, Sundown's kind of made their name on big bass, but these subs sound good.
Yeah, and I know that some of the SQ guys, was it Mike Flanagan,
Hmm.
uses Sundown subs in his SQ car. So, and I know that there's even some of the old school guys that have used some of the Sundown subs and say, wow, these are great sounding subs, just not for, they don't have to be only for busting out your windshield bass. They can be, for just filling bass like some of us like.
Yeah, for sure. Now, should I go with my system here? All right. So we're going to start again with what I want to do here is this is a newer car system. So this would be like, a new car where you're not going to replace the head unit, but you want to change sound in it. And as always, I start with the 1-aught kit because this is your groundwork for your system. So I always include that in the price because that's $100. It's $110 right off the top. You're going to need this to start it. And you want a solid base for whatever you do. Even though this amp that I'm going to show you does not require that much power at all. And I guess maybe you guys might know which amp I'm fixing to show you. But again, it's the kicker key. So if you have a factory system, say you have a newer vehicle, this will take speaker level in. It will flatten out any kind of tuning that the system has, which is very important for newer cars. It will give you the kicker curve if you want. If not, you can click the EQ dip switch off and use your own EQ controls. But this right here will power something that Dereck shared on his. It's funny that we both picked this set because at $225, this set does not get enough love, I don't think. It's a really good sounding set, like you said. You can buy amplify them here. You don't need the crossovers no more. And now for $584, you got your 1-aught kit, you got your amp, and you've got your front stage, and you're ready to add a sub amp at a later date because now that the key is installed, you have an RCA out, and you also have a remote wire out going to your next amp. So your bass is set up, you've got a fully active front stage, and you're ready to roll.
I dig. I dig like a backhoe. I like that setup. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, it's a, decent starter if you're looking for something, with a newer vehicle.
Yep. Cool.
What Let's see the SPL system.
All right. So my SPL system, I'm going to give you guys an option. You got $600. Are you going to go with one of the two choices that I've already shown you, the Smart 3 or the JP23? Whichever one you want to go with, I don't care. They're both the same price, similar performance, whichever one floats your boat better. That's half of the deal here, right? What about the subs? What do you know about these Toro Fierce 12s? 110 bucks. Let's get a couple of these. Let's get one of those 3000 watt amps and let's build the box here to the specs that they give you. Let's see what it'll do. I bought one of these a while back, but I haven't had a chance to play with it yet. But it is a beefy looking sub. It looks I think Parker on his channel played around with this one some. You guys can probably comment in the comment section to let me know if he has. I thought that he had done one and done a video on it. But 120 bucks, you can get two of these 3000 watt amp, and you're still got enough to buy your stuff for your box, your wood glue, and all that, and you're still not gonna go over 600 bucks. So that's tough to beat, in my opinion, for 600 bucks. You're getting
Yeah,
some pretty
good bang
windshield
here.
rattling bass there.
And you could go Korean or Brazilian. Either way, you'll be good.
Your choice. I'm giving you choices, all that good stuff.
Definitely not Paul. That kit's the OFC. I would, despite what you may have seen in a video, I would never recommend CCA to anybody.
So, and that's the big kicker about Rob's stuff. He was gutting y'all with all
Yeah.
that stuff about the CCA.
Well,
Rob
see, I
doesn't
wasn't
really.
actually. I mean, it was only in the title and in the thumbnail, but everything I said showed you that OFC's better. So I'm bad at
Yeah,
jokes.
that's all good. So yeah, Parker did play with that Toro Fierce, and yeah, he liked it. So I thought so. That was a good 100. And again, the dual. Oh, they got multiple versions. I was wondering why some was more, but the regular Fierce 12, 1600 watt max version is $110. So there's some other versions that cost more, so you could step up if you wanted to. But those are decent woofers as far as I know, so I would try it.
I'll tell you some picks that I almost added, but I couldn't find. Those the little Jensen amps that you tested
Yes,
with the DSP and stuff.
they're only on Walmart.
Yeah, dude, that's like. But how much were they? $80 each.
The 2 channel was 80. The 4 channel and the mono I think are right at 100.
Yeah, so I would love to have the mono or like two of the monos, one for each sub, and then do the full rest of the system with the little ones and have a little light show. It'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, they're cool with that light show. I've got a couple of different models of them, and I need to try them and see because people kept asking me, well, can you control? Because you're controlling it through the app. Can you control different amps and change the lights? And I would hope that Jensen would make it so that if you have multiple amps, of course you can control them all with one app.
Yeah.
But we don't know, so we haven't tried it yet. But
You're just gonna have like 10 phones to do it.
yeah, that's right. You got to use your wife's phone to control the lights on this one, and use yours to do the other one. Yeah, I don't think so. So I'm trying to find out here if we missed anything. I'll go back through. I know somebody commented the Audio Apex did have free shipping on the Cab 22. When I went the other day to pick up one because I was going to pick up one and do some testing, it was $20 shipping for me, and I'm in North Carolina, and they're in North Carolina, so I don't know. Maybe they've changed it since then, but I didn't end up picking up one. They've contacted me. I think they're going to send me one. They want to send me that 45 also, their newer one that's coming out. So we'll see about that. If you guys want to see those and see it on my channel, then just hit them up and let them know that you want to see it on mine because, you know, I don't really care either way. It's whatever you guys want to see.
So Justin asked, "Is there a decent DSP for under 600?" There's lots of them. He said,
Don't
"Don't
say
say
Dayton.
date, don't say date." And I do have some experience with the date, and I think for the price, it's worth the price you pay for it. Uh, but the JL Audio Tweak is $449. The entry level Helix is like $499. Um, I think Audison Bit 10, the cheap one, is like 500 and something. So yeah, you can get into some of the big players for under $600 DSP wise.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't done a lot of research on those, so I would have to pass that one to Rob. So it sounds like he's got some pretty solid recos. Just I was looking through the comments
See if
here
we
and
missed
see,
it.
and yeah, I was the same way. I was swaying. I was trying not to use the same stuff over and over, but we Rob and I test so much equipment and gear and use a lot of different stuff. We're just trying to leave the options open. I mean, there's pretty it's pretty safe to say there's some obvious choices with everything here with the money and things that you can go buy that that have been reviewed well and you seem to get good feedback on. But we tried to split it up a little bit.
Yeah. Have you got your hands on these? I didn't watch the video you shared with it either.
Uh, no, I think Ryan at Budget Gym is. I don't know if he's testing all three because there's a 2400, a 5K, and an 8K
Yeah.
of the Wolfram O series. From my understanding, and this is not inside baseball as much as the companies may want it to be, but the Sundown SFBs, the Wolframs, um, there's several of them that are very similar in design, and they do their rated power. But I know the video that I shared you, Rob, at 1 ohm uncertified. Unfortunately, the amp did not have that circuit like I was talking about with the Tar Amp Smart 3, and it did not
Yeah.
shut off the current, and it let the magic smoke out.
Oh, the O
So
series.
Yeah, yeah. So that was the 5K, and you know the uncertified test on the dyno, it's brutal, and that's why I say any of the amps that can do like under 1 ohm uncertified in any load is just unbelievable. And that's that JP23. It handled it. I couldn't believe it because it pulled so much current. I mean, over
Yeah.
440 amps of current, and it didn't shut off. It didn't, obviously if you fused it right, you're going to pop a fuse. But we're team no fuse here in Wilson Audio, or we're
Yeah.
team overfuse so that we
Yeah,
can get
you
as
gotta be
much
when you're
power.
testing amps because you know it's gonna happen. It'll
Exactly.
happen every single time, and it
But you
scares me
guys are
every
not,
time.
you guys aren't using test tones. You're not using resistive load. So the things that we show are the absolute worst case for abuse of the amp, but alternatively, they're the best case for showing you the capability of the amp. So just because we show one and show, oh wow, this thing does, 3,500 watts certified at 1 ohm, you wire it up in your car at 1 ohm to your subwoofers. When you get one of these AMM ones that we showed you earlier that you can hook up right to your speakers in line and test it, you're going to see that you're not going to get 1 ohm load with those 1 ohm speakers virtually at any of your impedance because
Yeah.
of the way it works with music, and it's going to go up and down, and you've got your box, you got your car, you got your temperature, you breathing heavy on the subs, you're affecting everything about the subwoofer itself. So you're not going to see that number, but it's still fun as a comparison. And we've talked about this before, comparing A to B to C to D all the way across the board. We like to test them using the same method. So that way, even though it may not be this much in your car, well, you know how much the amplifier is capable of. That's why we do what we do. Obviously, if we had more time, we'd hook it up in our car. But there again, my car with my speakers is not going to be the same as your car and your speakers. So that is not a great comparison, in my opinion. Get you an AMM1, hook yours up, then you can see how much power it's doing. But who cares how much power it's doing? If it sounds good, it's loud enough for you.
Yeah, it's and people they get so frustrated with the testing on the bench. They want to see it in car, and it's like, yo, like my car is not set up for SPL. So when I do it in the car, you're like, oh well, the numbers weren't very good because they're gonna want to see a SPL number two. They're like, oh well, it didn't do that. Well, yeah, because I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to do in this car, and I'm also not trying to put a 5,000 watt amp in here either. So my car's not set up to handle that.
Yeah, my 2001 Sequoia will start falling apart, rattling apart. I can't have that. I still have to get some more life out of it.
Jesse
It's
said it's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Jesse is absolutely right, because if we were talking, 20, 25 years ago, we would have a hard time picking out just the amp for
Yeah.
$600.
Speaking of a hard test, I had the Rockford Fosgate 22 or 225 2, and it wouldn't run the 2 ohms sine wave test. And everybody's run those at 2 or 1 ohms or even lower. But that test is so difficult that it would not do it. It would just straight into protect every time.
Yep, yep.
That's food for thought.
And I'd love to explain that for every time I show a dyno test, but it's just repetitive. But it's
Yeah.
so true that, if you're not thinking about it, comparing apples to apples, it's not the same.
Yep.
Oh, El Fuego just hit us up.
Oh, sorry.
That's all
Appreciate
right.
it, Ignacio.
Yeah, Scar 10.
Yeah, I haven't tried that one yet.
We're battling the clicker here.
Yeah, I was trying to scroll.
Thanks, El Fuego. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
What is up
appreciate
for 12 volt talk in 2021? That's a good question. We fly by the seat of interviewees. Hopefully, we have somebody for next week. He's semi confirmed. I'll get an absolute confirmation, and we'll have somebody we can interview to talk about several different things. He's been in the industry for a while and done everything from running a shop, being an installer, to being an SQ judge, to also working with marketing, things like that. So he's all the way across the board. So I thought it would be really cool talk about some of those different areas. And then I'm trying to get somebody who used to run a magazine, because I thought that would be cool too, car audio specific magazine, so that we can talk about, as being an editor, how do you deal with, obviously they didn't write a lot of they had multiple people who
Separation
did different things. Right.
of
So
advertising and editorial.
if you get an amp from brand Y, whatever that may be, and your amp test guy, who's a contractor that tests stuff and writes the article for you, gets it in, and he didn't like it, it didn't perform well, but yet they bought an advertisement in this month's magazine. How did they deal with stuff like that? Because I always wondered if they just didn't do the reviews that were not good, or if they were swayed a little bit because they were getting paid. I hate to say that, and I don't want to make that assumption, but we all know how the world works. That's why what Rob and I try to do here is we try to separate ourselves a little bit from that paid side. And if you guys want to help us out by clicking a link, that helps us. But, anyway, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole with that. But I was always curious to see why some brands were never tested. And I was like, oh, since I've tested them now, I think I know why, because they didn't perform that well.
Yeah. Well, and then if even if the reviewer is being true, that doesn't mean the editor is not going to move stuff around here and there to make it seem one way or the other.
You don't like to slap the hand that feeds you, right? Your mama's got the biscuits coming out and getting ready to feed you, and you're like, Mama, that meatloaf last night wasn't any good.
Yeah.
Your butt's going to be not eating dinner that night. So I understand from that perspective, but it's always bugged me to think about, that being something that's so heavily weighed upon what they're allowed as an editorial thing to write versus what advertisements are showing. But we'll try to get some input on that.
And maybe in the future we'll talk about ways that the amp dyno is not always what it seems. Because you can definitely you can do little things on the dyno to get the results you want.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. Obviously, what track you're running, if you run the dynamic track and you have it on certified, it'll still show the certified number. But if you see a blip, or you don't see somebody show the screen and they show the screen afterwards, it's possible it was just a blip because they did the wrong track. But
yeah.
Anyway, we try to be as honest with everything. Obviously, we all make mistakes sometimes. It is what it is, but we will talk about that. Let's see if there's any other.
Auto sound and security was a jam. I was more of a car stereo review, CSR. What was your magazine of choice?
Car stereo review for me was my favorite, but the thing I did not like about it is it was bi-monthly. It only came out every 2 months.
Yeah.
And it always seemed like it was like, dude, if you're coming out every 2 months, can't you have more stuff in there? It was always, a lot thinner than the car audio and electronics. They seem to have a lot more stuff in the car audio and electronics. But I liked them all, I'll be honest, but probably car stereo review out of the big ones was my favorite one.
What was the one that was like physically a bigger magazine?
Car Sound was one. They moved to a bigger one. They were a standard size and they moved to a bigger one. But I think, they're toward the end of what was it, the late 2000s, obviously the through the tens of 2000 toward the end, because car audio and electronics died around the end of 2008. And at that time, it seemed like the bigger magazines were what they were trying to put on the the newsstands to try to get people's attention. Because I know I'd been there before and seen those UK magazines that were like $30. I'm like, whoa! And I picked that thing up and it was huge. And I think that's why Car Sound went bigger. It was just an impact.
And what's sad about it is they were probably the worst out of all the magazines, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, they were later, and the ironic part is the guy that I'm gonna maybe bring on was the editor for Car Sound. So Rob, you just ruined that. Thank you.
He doesn't know. Don't show him this video.
Yeah, he won't be watching this. So anyway, No, I'm up for talking with any of them, but it's just that I just ran across this guy and we just hooked up. So I told him I thought it would be interesting. Um, and we've run into some people that have written for the magazines. I would really like to talk to one of the editors too, and the writers. So yeah, if you guys have any contacts, and I see some people in here say that his dad, Scott, said that his dad wrote for Car Audio Mag. Yeah,
Yeah.
if your dad's willing to come on, maybe we could have an episode where we had several of these people, some of the editors and some of the writers, and we could just have them tell us about how the magazine worked and a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff, which I think is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Scott's dad may have passed, but I was trying to look up some of his articles, but I couldn't find it because his name, is what I can't pronounce your last name, Scott. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay.
Dealback, something like that. But yeah,
Okay,
I can
cool.
find some
Yeah.
articles
Well,
to
my
be.
well, my apologies for that, Scott. I didn't realize that. Thomas, thank you for the $10 super sticker. Now, here's one thing I will say, and I agree, and we've talked about this a little bit before too. But we miss the magazines. But gosh, guys, I would say if I had to go back and rely on magazines versus the information I have at my fingertips today,
Yeah.
sorry, I miss them too, but I do not. I would miss this much more than the magazines. I think
YouTube's
most of you
my
guys would
magazine.
agree.
YouTube's
What'd you say?
definitely my magazine. I said YouTube's my magazine. That's who I go
Yeah,
through. But the
I
good thing
mean,
about magazines, you get really high quality photos. That I love. But and the articles, well written articles.
agreed. There's not as many articles written today. I mean, there's some of the car audio sites that still do articles that are very good and very well written. But yeah, most of the content today is just going to be video content, and we talked about this before too. But the things that Mark at Cardio Fabrication shows off, and Doug at Soundman show off the fabrication type stuff. Back in the day, you had to buy the tapes. You had to buy it was so expensive, and the quality of what they showed you, they only hit the tip of the iceberg. And these guys go so deep in the details of what they do now. We're really spoiled with the information that we have right at our fingers right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I wouldn't want to go back, even though I do miss the magazines.
It feels
I
good
would.
sometimes, but
Yeah, I mean it does. It's just like other things. We tend in our mind to remember the good parts, or the things that nostalgia, just like we talk about the old amps, right?
mm,
You think about, oh, it sounded so great on blah blah blah, but it's really, if you compare it to what's available today, I don't know. I think we're nostalgia is just really strong
yeah.
with us, and that's not a. I don't mean to say that as a bad thing. There you
But it
go. Yeah,
it
the
keeps you out
Fishman,
of judgment.
the Fishman tape,
Yeah. You said
$110.
yeah, you said that on the last one when I mentioned it. I never bought one, so I didn't know how much they were. I knew they're expensive though.
Yeah, I never saw that one or never got that one. But wow. I mean, hey, these guys didn't have the internet back then, so they couldn't, make YouTube videos and do AdSense and do all the things with the affiliate links like we can do these days.
Plus, they
They
had a whole
had to.
staff. They had literally photographers, editors, writers. I'm sure they had number of bean counters, and yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot of different hands in the piggy bank. They're pulling the stuff out. So
yeah. Because when you're like us, you get to be the writer, the photographer, the filmographer, the on-camera person.
I wouldn't say talent because I don't know
Yeah,
that we're
that's why I
that,
did.
but
I cautiously avoided talent on purpose.
we're the untalent.
Yeah,
But I mean, and that may be why there's not as many, different channels. Of course, in my opinion, there's still a lot for car audio, but I think there's some people that are really good, fabrication, but they're just not good with the video. They're not good with editing. They're not good with the social media part. So to find people that are able to encompass all those into one and put it together, that's kind of where we're fortunate in the fact that we can, we can grab that and do it all together, because there's probably a ton of people out there that they're so skilled, and it would be great to have their information and have it out there. It's just that they don't have the ability to do that.
Yeah. And Tony's Anthony's Cardio Life channel is a good channel for that. He has, he doesn't really show a lot of how to, but he shows some incredibly sweet installs. He's got, I don't know what camera he's using, but I dig it. And you guys should check it out definitely if you want to see some really nice installs and see some shop shenanigans. Uh, I'm down for that stuff always.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think we're pretty much good here for the show. So we're going to thank everybody for joining us here for this first show of 2021. This is episode 90 of 12 Volt Talk. So we're only 10 away from the big 100. And we're going to try to do better. When I say we, I mean me. We're going to try to do better with making this a weekly show moving forward. Try to get some more guests on and just have more fun with you guys. We do appreciate, you guys engaging with us like you do every week. We really have fun doing this show. We just want to make sure that we have something here. We're not just coming on to shoot the breeze and not really have anything to talk about.
Oh, did I cut out or did you cut out, Dereck? Oh,
Here, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you now.
I saw the little thing you spin. Did you hear me the whole time, or did you just not see
No,
me?
I just seen you froze.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry about that. Hopefully we'll stay live here for a few more minutes. What part did you miss?
Everything. We can just get to the we out
Everything.
of here part.
Oh, you froze now.
Uh-oh.
StreamYard's killing us tonight. It could be
Yeah.
YouTube.
Now,
Who
now that
knows?
they got
All
popular.
right. Well, just check us out. 12 volt talk. That's right.
Yeah.
12volttalk.com or youtube.com/12etalk. And we will see you next week. Till then, we out of here.
Bye. Later.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just saw you spinning there for a minute.
Yeah. Does it look good on your screen when that happens?
Yeah, it looks fine right now. I mean, it looks like everything's
Yeah,
back.
that's how mine is, but then yours is blurry. I don't know.
Mine's
I'm
blurry
wired
right now.
still. It come back now. I don't know what in the world's going on. I have noticed on have you noticed StreamYard is on the big channels now, like the YouTuber channels?
No.
Yeah, they're doing ads for it on Think Media and a few other ones.
Ah. Interesting. You still there, Rob? You're frozen.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay. I unplugged the
the
Win on
system.
Wi-Fi to see if it was me. I didn't know.
Okay. I don't
So
know.
I'm
Like I
back on
said,
Wi-Fi.
I've been doing a lot of stuff on this computer today, and I didn't reboot before we started, so it could be my system resources are down.
Yeah, it's looking good over here. I done it. He said, Third Era said, cut the hard line.
We're not talking about stuff that would cause us to have our show to be cut off.
Yeah, he did ask what's the favorite style of barbecue sauce? Vinegary, a little peppery, or the thick and sweet?
I don't really have a favorite. I mean, I wouldn't say that I only eat this one or whatever. I like them all. So that's
I
the fat people rule.
I don't like the vinegary so much, but I'm more of a peppery guy. I like the spicy, the Texas style, but I do appreciate the Kansas City, the Memphis sweet, sauce as well.
Yeah, I've had them all and I like them all. So I don't really have a preference.
I've yet to have that good North Carolina barbecue. We
Oh,
have to make that
well,
happen next
we'll
time.
make that happen as long as there's a restaurant that's open by the time you come here.
Remember, we tried it twice. The first one was a chain restaurant, wasn't it?
I'm trying to remember. Was it Smithfield's?
Was it the one where remember the weird guy? No, that was the second one. You remember what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, where he was like, "This is good after show talk here," where we're all sitting outside the barbecue joint and we're chopping it up, and the drunk dude comes over. He's like, "Hey guys, I like car stereo too."
Oh yeah,
And
I
then
vaguely
and
remember
Chris
that.
Walters, I was like, "Yeah, man, go check out." I was like, "His system's loud. Go check his out."
Was that when we were at the mall though?
No, no,
Or
no. That was at the barbecue joint. We had Chick-fil-A in the mall.
I know, but I'm just trying to think of were we in Raleigh then, or were we somewhere else?
Where were we? We
I
weren't by
don't.
your house. We weren't.
Oh, was this one in the western part of North
Yeah, I
Carolina that
think
we
so.
went to? Oh yeah, yeah. I don't. I didn't pick those out, so I can't really say anything about those restaurants. 'Cause that was those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't what I was expecting. And they brought me some mustard sauce, barbecue sauce out.
Oh,
That was a hard pass on that.
that is a weird color for that one. Ignacio, thank you, sir. We appreciate your hooking us up.
Fuego.
Fuego's hitting us again.
Word.
Okay, so
He's putting a Honda S2000 motor in it. Done.
we've talked about all kind of crazy stuff. Here is the honest, true fact story about the 37 Ford. I've beat my head up against the wall about what I want to do with it. It's drivable right now. It's not what I would call an enjoyable drive because anybody who's driven a car that's that old that still has the factory style suspension, the factory style steering, the factory style brakes. Yeah, it's not very fun to drive in anything other than just a Sunday cruise. So I want to get the front end. They have Mustang 2 swaps that you can do for the front end, which gives you the independent suspension. It gives you power steering, and then you can work in the power brakes to that whole swap out. So that's kind of what I'm leaning toward doing first. Rob mentioned the S2000, and that was the haha joke, but actually it was something I was thinking about before. Was just to make the Ford guys mad because I don't care. I'm not a Ford guy. I'm not a Chevy guy. I told you I'm a Toyota and a Honda guy. Okay. That's what I am. So I was thinking, the Honda S2000 is a front engine, rear drive, drivetrain type deal. But when I went and looked,
They're
it's
like
like,
15 grand.
it's the most expensive Honda engine that you can get literally. And it's like everybody wants it. So I don't think that's going to happen for the Ford. The engine's running great. Transmission's okay. It's a 3-speed auto, whatever. I would love to have a 5-speed manual or a 6-speed manual. But with those cars, anybody who's set in a 30s car, the interior is pretty tight. I mean, you're right up against your wife when she's sitting there, which is okay. But to have a stick shift in there would make it pretty difficult with your feet, especially with me being 6'4". So anyway, I don't know yet. I'm just so busy with working the day job and then trying to get the videos on the weekend. I'm going to have to farm it out. It's just a matter of, yeah. People saying
Yeah.
LS, I see that all the time too, and
I'll
whatever.
try to talk you into selling it and getting a big ride so the boys can hang in it with you.
I mean, I honestly, I thought about it, and my wife was like, "There's no way, based on the amount of effort it took you to get that car, you're not going to sell it." So yeah, again, just don't expect any huge changes anytime soon with it because I'm just not there right now. I've just got too much stuff going on. But I would love to get it fixed up and love to put a system in it that I could show you guys. Honestly, I would, but I can't. It's like when you're doing a project and you don't want to move to step 5 when you know that you need to do step 1 first. Because I would love just to throw a system in there and be like, hey, look, this is cool. but then I've got to pull everything out. I've got to do the POR on the interior, the pour 15 or whatever it's called, to give it a good foundation, make sure it's not going to rust. And I've got to read sound, I got to sound deaden it and to do all that stuff. And then on top of that, it has been rewired, but some of the other things I was talking about that need to be done, like the front end swap, so it's more comfortable to drive and it doesn't turn like a Mack truck. I'll put it to you this way. I go to a cul-de-sac. I cannot make a turn at a cul-de-sac. I have to do a 3-point turn at a cul-de-sac. It will not, even the biggest
You have one of
cul-de-sac.
those forklift knobs on there. You can just
It doesn't matter because it maxes out. And a lot of you guys probably don't know because you probably haven't driven a car that old, but I'm just telling you, it's cool to look at, but that's why some people get into those things and get out of them. And it's nothing about the motor. I don't care. I mean, I see people saying 351 Windsor LS, whatever.
yeah.
To me, it's not about that. It's just comfort and it's being fun to drive. And right now, it's just kind of not there.
I got a video idea for it though. Here's what you do. So you do the 37 system reveal. You play the system, you get in front, you let everyone, hear it. You don't show them anything. And then at the end, you walk back, you open the trunk, and you reveal a diamond box.
I bet Tony D would probably go for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Honda Daily Driver is an '08 Accord EXL. So that's pretty close third era to what you're talking about your wife has. Uh, uh did you see Rob? Did you see Dean's video on the Jensen? I don't know if it's worth getting because I thought about the Jensen because my oldest daughter is not far from driving age and she's going to get my Accord. So I wanted to change out the head unit for her, but
yeah, I probably wouldn't put that in there.
I don't think I'll put that. I've been that Kenwood though is so expensive.
I'll give you a little hint. If you watch a 5-star car stereo video, and you see them they do certain types of videos. If you see them unbox something and walk you through the features, and then there's another style they do where they kind of review it in a vehicle. If it's the unboxing one, they probably didn't like it that much.
Ding, 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 ding. Well, one of my guys here local, he borrowed my audio control. What is it? The DSP tuning. What is that thing called?
DMRTA.
Yeah, the DMRTA.
Yeah.
He got the Kenwood 10-inch, and he's got a Honda Ridgeline.
Yeah.
Probably 2 years old or something. That thing is nice. And he drove it for about a week before he brought it over because I told him, I said, I want you to get some time with it to let me know what you really think. The screen quality is good. It's not as good as an iPad. Obviously, the resolution is not that high. It is HD, but it's not, super HD. The functions all work pretty quickly. It connected to the Apple CarPlay pretty fast. But again, that head unit is $1,100 It's very expensive.
And he bought the Kenwood.
Yeah, he got the Kenwood. It's nice, but it's just like, man, that's so much.
Well, Dean was trying to defend the 720 a little bit. I wasn't having none of it, man. No way. I can have 1080 on this right here. Why can I have 1080 and a freaking $1,200 piece of equipment?
Well, yeah, I think it's just because they don't buy the quantity, and I don't know. I just think there's a much better way for them to.
What it is.
They need to have the, we already talked about the ones you pick on, the Pioneer one that docks your phone. They need to have one that docks an iPad.
I've actually reversed on that Pioneer that docks the iPhone a little bit.
I don't believe it.
You just got the hot take is what happened.
I don't believe it.
I just say things,
I don't believe that you changed your mind on that. You're pretty adamant. Yeah. Junk. I think the reason you changed your mind is because your options now have gone from 20 different options to 3.
Have you looked? There's something with the COVID because all head units, like the cheap head units, are all sold out.
Well, and that was the other thing that Rob and I talked about setting up this list is the things that used to be cheap. They're not cheap anymore.
Yeah, the
Prices of
9701's like $229 now, whereas I
yep.
think I purchased it at 160.
Yeah, so the things that we used to recommend that were ultra budget are now close to the things that are kind of mid-priced.
Yeah. And people on YouTube get very mad about it. Like, listen, I told you the price the day that I tested it, and I put a link in here. I can't control Amazon. I wish I could. I'd be rich.
I get hate all the time for the Blaupunk 12s that were $20 a piece. Those
Yeah.
things are $38 now. I was like, well, you should have watched a video a year and a half ago and you could have got them for $20.
Yep.
Slacker.
Exactly.
Deviant has arrived up in the house right here at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Let's
See any
see.
more good questions? Y'all got any more good questions before we dip out of here?
The wife wouldn't let me do an iPad. Well,
I
yeah,
don't blame her.
I can understand because there's no way I'd leave it in my car anyway. I'd have it so you could pop it out, but they're just iPads are expensive too. But at least you could use it for multiple things.
The interface isn't good enough. If somebody had an app that was like a full on stereo app and it did
Yep.
everything, of course, that'd be awesome. But
Yeah, so there you go, manufacturers. There is a challenge for you. We need a like a head unit list device because it doesn't need to all it needs is the guts, right? We need to be able to connect to the iPad. It needs to have a volume knob, maybe with a push button so you can select through things, and then an app that interfaces to the iPad so you can control options. And then that way you don't have to have a head unit. You don't have to have, a weird setup where you're going straight from your phone to your iPad or whatever. This way you could do it separately. I'm for that
yeah, for sure. I mean,
all the way.
we need to kickstart it ourselves. We'll hook up with Doug, get the slider kits, and then get someone to develop the app for us.
There you go. I just need a dial and some brains.
What'd you get for Christmas, D? Anything cool?
So my family knows not to buy me things. They just give me Amazon gift cards. I do have something cool that I bought myself, but I can't talk about it yet. But you guys will see when it comes in.
I got here. I can show you one thing. It's within arm's reach here. So as you know, as a guy,
Ooh,
a flashlight. So my daughter got me a nice
torch.
it's a big Coast flashlight, and I use a crap out of this thing at that cabin because there was zero light out there.
Oh, I love that.
I got that, and then my son bought me a label maker so I could wire my labels. I didn't have a label maker, and I got something else too.
So you could label your wires, not wire your labels.
Yeah, maybe I'll wire the labels
too. That too.
No, he said it's a new bike.
Oh, me? No, it's not a new bike.
Oh, sweet. Got a Cobra Kai jacket. I just finished up. Have you been watching?
I haven't started yet because I can't yet. But when I get
one of those deals you made a deal with your wife that you'd only watch it with her?
No, it wasn't that. It's just, yeah, I'm not. The problem with me is I get into something like that and I won't be able to do the other things that I need to do.
Yeah.
So, again, you guys, we try to make videos and do the stuff like that. The extra free fun time is limited, and I try to use it with my family best I can and not watching TV and stuff. But I've heard it's great, and I would love to watch it.
30-minute episodes.
If that helps. Snap! Yeah, but the problem is they're going to have hooks at the end of each one, right? So I'll have to watch like all of them back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do that because we only watch like an hour of TV a day. But yeah,
I couldn't do it.
You'll want to
if I like it. It's like the Stranger Things when it came out, the 3rd season. We watched it all like in a day.
Oh, speaking of which, I watched The Ride finally on Amazon Prime with Ludacris. That movie.
The Ride is good.
Awesome, man.
Yes, that makes you want to buy Haro. All of you BMX haters out there.
Yeah. No, I'll still buy a Redline, but and then
Well, before you buy Redline, make sure you read RL Osborne's post about him because he was going to jump on with Redline. They were going to do a retro bike,
yeah,
and apparently the guy that they chose at Redline to do, I can't remember if it's the marketing or the building or whatever, was not up to his standard, and he's like, the guy only in it for money, and I don't want to deal with that. So he didn't go in, but they did have the frame, fork, handlebars, and stem for $1,600 on pre-order. You could get whatever color you wanted.
no way. 1600.
Yeah,
No.
1,600, and that's a 20-inch.
What I seen at the end of that video that John Bolchin still he's with Haro.
Oh, he's the
Yeah, it's like the guy.
product. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the global product manager, and he can still ride like a beast. He posts, if you follow him on Facebook or whatever, he posts videos all the time of him riding ramps and doing all kind of tricks. Yeah, that dude is rad. He really is rad.
Fact, the PK Ripper. Those were dope. I know. I
Yeah,
always wanted one. Never had one.
and now SE bikes and their new big rippers, fat rippers, whatever. There's so many different. I don't even know how many different versions they have. But every time they come up with a bike, they sell out. So they're
Yeah.
huge in the 26 to 29-inch bike market. And they have the fat ripper, the quad, the fat quad, all that stuff.
Is
They have a
DK
lot.
bikes?
What's that?
DK.
I haven't seen those lately. They may still. Yeah, I made a post about Redline like last year because they came out in 1973, something like that. Anyway, it's going to be a big anniversary for them in a couple years, and I made a post asking if they were going to do a 26-inch RL2. Is that what it's called? The Redline RL2, the one that he rode in the mid '80s that I like so much. But anyway, yeah, they did a re-release on the 20-inch, and they sold them out within like 8 hours or something. All the different colors they had. $1,600, and they're not even gonna be ready until like July or something.
Dang. You know,
Yeah.
if I was to buy an bike now, I would have to get an Elf.
Oh, okay.
Just because I always wanted an Elf. They were the coolest back in the day. I'd have to jump on that.
That's cool. I always wanted, I always rode Haro, but I always wanted a Hutch or a Redline. So
Yeah.
I didn't really lust for any other brand, but those were the ones I used to really want: the Hutch Trickstar and the Redline RL22.
Yeah. It was I had the 360, but I wanted the Redline Pro line when I had
Mm,
it. That was one I wanted. But
yeah, that one's sweet.
mom was
Yeah,
like, "No."
that Mike Buff Big Ripper is a sweet bike, and they had some of those a few months ago. I saw online. I had a chance to get one, but I didn't. But yeah, those are really really sweet. Yeah, we can't buy much of a BMX bike for $600 these days.
No. The entry level, that's what you're gonna end up with.
Alrighty,
Yeah. I
guess
think
we are good for this week. So thanks for hanging out with us, dudes. We're gonna call it a night. And y'all, I know that many of y'all are on the Kicker stream on Tuesday nights, but if you didn't get to see the one last night, I would recommend going back and watching it because they have Bobby Gately, John Nolte, and Steve Barber were all on there. And
yeah.
about an hour in, they started really talking about some things about boxes and things that they were concerned about that people were asking. And they just had a really good discussion. If you guys did not see that, I would recommend going back and watching it because it's a really, really good discussion from some people who are really smart and know what they're talking about. And yeah, it's good to hear because a lot of people think that 218s are always better than 210s in their car, and they'll talk about why that's not always the case. And
Right.
it's something that a lot of people need to hear, I think. So make sure you check that out.
part of it too. I was at a basketball game, but I caught part of it there and part of it on the way home. It was a really good one.
Yeah, it's on their site. So if you missed it, just go to the Kicker YouTube channel, and it's the one from that was streamed last night. It's still there, and you can skip around it if you want. And if you have the app on your phone, you can listen to it, that way or whatever. But yeah, check it out.
Yeah, and if you want to watch some with me tomorrow, me and Dean, Reverse Polarities
Oh,
back.
that's right, man. Rob is just on all the time. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, I just let everyone else do the talking. That's my secret.
They got mad um, because what was the thumbs down for? I'm trying to think of the reason. Something I said,
I
I'm
said
sure.
something about wiring my labels.
Yeah, that's probably it. Or they didn't like one of our choices in our systems.
Yeah, probably none of them.
All right, we are out. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week. Peace.